simply put, it's a pleasure to be chatting with you guys. Sitting down talking with Staind. I have Mike and Aaron in here, and you guys have your latest album out, and I know that with the latest album, you guys tapped back into the roots, the old school Staind. And I'm just curious to know if there's a particular reason for that, or if it was just a natural return to where it started.
Well, I mean, I think that, we spoke about doing that before we did the Illusion of Progress, and it just never really turned out that way. And I think after we finished that record, we realized that we really wanted to go back to trying to do that. So when we set out to do this record, that was kind of the intention to, get back to kind of where we started, which was writing aggressive music. So that's what the goal was.
Now, is there anything particular behind this album that means a lot to you guys? I know there's so much emotion that's wrapped up with anything that Staind does. I mean, there's a lot of personal experience, there's a lot of expression, a lot of cathartic release there. But this album, is there anything in particular that stands out for you guys?
Yeah. A lot of things came to a head on this album. And the band that had been the same four members for 17 years walked away from the studio not missing a member. We have since employed our our drum tech. It was John's drum tech for the last 13 years. Sal plays drums for us now.
Now, is that with that? Is there? I mean, the sound is Staind. There's no denying that. But with those changes, is there something that you're finding has been brought back? Is you bringing a new aspect in it? It's kind of almost like starting fresh.
Well, we haven't written together yet. Everything was done prior to the parting of the ways.
It was kind of the recording and the process that led to the ultimately, splitting. So I mean, we kind of got through that.
So
barely, but
we don't really know what it's going to be. We haven't tried writing with them yet, where it's a clean palette and a clean canvas to paint on.
Well,
he's had a structure to go by. He's had somebody else's drum lines to just learn and move forward with.
Right. And you guys have all been through your own trials and tribulations over the years. But one thing that I know, we're from Eastern North Carolina. Our station's out in New Bern. We're out near Atlantic Beach. That should sound very familiar to you, Aaron. And is this somewhat, when you come back to North Carolina, is it somewhat like a little bit? I know, does your father still live out there in that area?
In Carolina?
Yeah.
No, my dad lived out off the Boston, just north of Boston, Massachusetts. There's been a little confusion as to here and there as to where I'm from.
Well, I know you're not from here, but I thought, and I could be totally mistaken.
Vermont is where I grew up, and then New Hampshire, and then Massachusetts. And
do you have a relative that had lived out in the beach of North Carolina?
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, I trust you. I'm not going to tell you who your relatives are and what they do at all. But it was interesting. The reason I bring that up is a few years ago, and we could have just been snowed by somebody who was feeding us a line of BS. But we had been told that you were taking some time and going to spend time with family, and you're going to be out in that Atlantic Beach area, hanging out.
Nope.
All right. Well, then we were fed a line of BS.
Wasn't me.
It's amazing. Well, so you never know. In this business, people will spin tall tales and take with whatever they can run with to get a little bit of attention.
There's been a couple times in my career where there's been somebody saying that they were me at a hotel somewhere on the West Coast, just running up ridiculous bills and putting it all in my name, and on both occasions I'm pretty sure that they were caught, but it's happened a couple times.
Well, with that, what's the craziest thing that's happened for you guys out on the road and traveling, and as you come to the prominence that you are with Staind and the name getting out there?
Man, I mean, what I just said was kind of crazy.
That is absolutely crazy.
I've had that happen twice. There was somebody in Chicago at one time that used to go around saying he was me, and people would go on the website and say, I said I lost my wallet, and they'd buy him drinks and cigarettes, and he'd bail and never show up. And then, I literally there was a guy out on the West Coast. Literally, one of our managers was having lunch one day, and he was meeting with a songwriter or a producer, and he said, "Man, I just met Mike from Stained, and we're talking about getting together to write some songs." He's like, "Oh, Mike's here. Where is he?" I was like, "Well, that's him right there." He's like, "That's not him."
Wow.
So it was like some guy going around. And I had a friend too that was in a bar in Southern California, and he was just having a beer. He's a biker. He was out there for some bike rally, and he called me. He's like, "Dude, I was just at some bar, and this guy was saying that he was you." And he goes, "I went up to him. I go, dude, I know Mike. You're not him." And the guy just fucking, oops, you're taping. And the guy just,
No, I can edit.
left. Yeah.
I don't want you guys feeling like you have to hold anything
No,
back.
sure.
Well, I really appreciate it and your time here. I know you've got your warm up, you got everything you're gonna do, but
Yeah.
there's
so busy, dude.
everybody has their own different way they do it.
You're looking at
But
Just waiting for the show, really.
with what you said earlier, there's a bit of a transition in place. What's this tour and getting out right now and doing what you guys are doing? That's going to continue, I'm sure. Or what's the future for you guys? I know you're going to have to retool some things.
The record came out in September of last year.
Right. Well, it's not new, but it's
We're
still
already coming up on a year that the record's been out. It's on its third single, and it's gonna wind down, and I'm gonna turn my focus to working the solo record that is coming out in August, and try to make some sort of transition, and I would have to assume that there might be another Stained tour that comes up, and the delicate balance will continue to balance.
Right.
And just kind of move forward from there,
Now, with your last solo album, some might say you took a risk. Others say it's just you just expressing what you enjoy, what influences you, and a new sound you wanted to try.
I would have to say that it was a lot of everything. There was definitely a risk involved in trying to cross genres, and not just release a Stained light record, if you will, as a solo record. If I was going to do that, I might as well have just, brought the songs to Stained, and they could have been the mellower songs that were on the next couple records. But those songs wouldn't work with Stained. They just wouldn't. And the same with the 10 songs that I'm about to release in August. Those songs just, there was one that might work forever, but the rest of them wouldn't have worked with Stained.
Are you trying a new sound at all?
I'm digging for different memories.
Yeah.
My all the stuff that I've stuffed way back in the recesses and tried to forgotten about over my lifetime, I've used all that shit up already, kinda. On this last record, I really kind of called upon what was going on at the time for all of my anger and hostility and frustration and all the stuff that I was housing in my own brain before for all the records before it. But this stuff it's just a different way for me to tell stories. It's this single that's out right now off of it, it's proof positive that I can write a happy song. It's as happy-go-lucky as it gets. I don't know, it's just a cool way. And then what ends up happening is that gets stale, and Stained is super refreshing for that, and then Stained, and then that gets stale, and then the solo thing is really refreshing for that. So it kind of, it kind of works out.
It's a balancing, like you said
Yeah.
earlier. Now, with that, Mike, and with as long as you've known Aaron, and being a part of Stained, and being a part of this storytelling process. As angry as it may be, or as whatever, you guys, I mean, you're laid back, you're chilling here. Down the road, and one thing to just let your fans know out there, what's the one thing at the heart of it for you that is Staind?
I mean, I think it comes down to the songs. You know, Aaron and I just getting together and writing the songs that we come up with. And collaborating on that, and
Do you ever find that it's not sharing the same experiences, but merging these I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. These experiences that might have a duality to them.
Well, it might be different because I just write the music.
And everybody's
You know
path
what I mean?
in
So-
life is completely different.
Yeah.
Every choice you make changes the path you're taking, and so
exactly.
so everybody's path is so different in life, and we get together and we write the songs that we've always written, and that will it's a combination of the two of us. It's his guitar ideas and it's my melody lines and lyrics, and that's just it's always been that, and that's always where the songs have come from, and the other members of the band have always been just as important because they lay down their stuff and no one's telling them what to do, and we all try to help each other if it's needed, but it's not like, okay, this is the drum beat you're going to play, and somebody gets down and plays the drum beat, oh okay, and that it's not like that. Everybody is responsible for their own piece, but the songs are just born from me and Mike, and then those guys put all the icing on the cake, if you will.
I'll tell you, with that foundation, I mean, it's nice to know you guys have the relationship you do, and I appreciate it. And my time's about up, but I just want to thank you guys so much, and thank you for sharing, being honest, and sharing with everybody through your music everything you've gone through. That's something that's a vulnerability not very many people throw out there, and the fact that you two put it together the way you do is.
I don't know where else I wouldn't. I don't think I would do very well as a fantasy writer that just writes scenarios that don't really pertain. It's got to be from somewhere to be able to capture it in the manner that everybody's trying to capture it, and to express it in a way and put it out there in a way that seems like you mean it.
Oh, rock isn't real if it's fake.
Yeah. You got to feel it, or else you can't redeliver it the right way.
Well, thanks for feeling it. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much.